Hi, Whitney. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. Happy to start my day with you.
Oh, thank you. You're too kind. You're too kind. It's just an extreme pleasure of spending some time talking with Whitney Miller today. She's in the process of living out her lifelong dream to be a country music singer. Her current single, Diamond Country, is a must hear. It's so much fun. You got to hear it yourself. Don't take my word for it. Listen to yourself. Whitney is also a former professional athlete, and she was crowned Miss United States in 2012. If that's not enough, she's a highly respected kickboxing commentator and a podcaster. And I just thank you so much for your time. I don't know when you would have time to talk to someone like me today, but you have so many things going on. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm happy to be here, like I said.
I understand you've been listening to country music since you were a young child. Who are some of the people in the business or even people around that you surround yourself, family, friends that have really inspired you to pursue your country music and the songs?
Well, I grew up, I'm born and raised in South Texas. My single father raised me. We were always, on the ranch or hunting or fishing. Like I was basically a very big tomboy when I was
Uh-huh.
a little kid because I just wanted to follow around my dad and did what he did. And I had two half brothers and I did everything that they could do too. And being from Texas, you listen to country music or you don't listen to music. Or you're not coming over for dinner is what it's like. So I just kind of grew up in that, always hearing it, always listening to it. And then even outside of country music, I love Bonnie Raitt and, Susan Tedeschi and some of the other artists that kind of like blend the two worlds in a really cool, edgy way. And I just knew that there's no other type of music that I could do. It was just, if I tried to do something else, it would feel weird and inauthentic and not me. So that's why I said, you know what, country music it is. Country music or bust, baby.
It's always fun to hear who inspires people, and like you said, to be able to step outside the world country with some of that people that have bridged the gap, between country and maybe pop or rock, the people you mentioned. And it's always fun to hear who people listen to who they have in their head when they're writing or singing. It's always fun.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
How difficult was it for you to leave your home state of Texas and say, okay, I'm going to head to Nashville. I've got to make this happen?
Yeah, so this has been a very big adventure for me. I actually singing actually is my biggest fear and was my biggest fear. It's still something that I'm continuing to work on. When I was 10 years old, someone really close to me told me I couldn't sing, and I took that to heart to where I didn't sing. And I probably couldn't sing when I was 10 years old, but like it was just an expression that I was unable to do. And anytime someone would ask me to sing, I'd either completely shut down or start crying. It was like this really terrible, terrible thing that I had going on. And so I did all of these other things, like you said. I did, Miss United States. And then we went into kickboxing and podcasting and all of these things that were amazing. I loved them, but it was all kind of a little bit of a facade and trying to like hide the real thing that I wanted to do, which was singing and writing and performing music. And finally, I realized we have this one life to live, and I couldn't continue going on not fully being myself and wondering what if for far too long. And I met this guy, Matt Nevesky, who ended up being my, confidant and friend and producer. And he's the one that really opened the door and said, okay, if you want to do this, all you have to do is say yes. And that has been my motto through this entire thing, is just say yes. I know you're scared, but just say yes. Like, you're going to be okay. Just say yes. This is what you want to do. Just say yes. And so when it came time to move to Nashville, I didn't give myself an out. I knew I was coming here because I said yes to it. But I will tell you, I was terrified.
I'm sure.
I had been in Texas my entire life. I'd been in Austin for 10 years. I had all my friends and family there, but I just knew this is where I needed to be, and packed up my car and went out and made it all the way to Nashville. And I am so happy that I did that for myself. It's exactly where I need to be. There's challenges, but at the same time, like I said, this is exactly where I need to be.
There are so many people out there who are going to be very happy that you made that choice, first of all, to not listen to the voice of someone who was a naysayer, and second of all, to move to Nashville to let this career explode, because it's where you need to be. I could just tell when I listen to the music and I see the website, all the different songs you've been working on, it's where you were meant to be. It really
Thank
was.
you.
Yeah.
That means a lot to hear. Thank you.
And you know, I teach students, I teach music lessons, and I always tell the students that, you know, I tell them I would never tell anybody that they couldn't sing. I start with that. I say, but you know, when I find someone who's really a superstar, I tell them, you know, I'm going out of my way to tell you that you are really good. And I wouldn't do that because I would never want anybody to do what that person did to you, to stifle that creativity. So I said, you know, I'm telling you that you're, and I would never falsely tell someone that. And I said, if someone ever tells you that you're not talented, it's because they're jealous. That's why I tell them, because when there's someone that's got that talent, and I truly believe that, you know, that's sometimes something that someone needs to hear sometimes.
I absolutely agree. I so agree. And I feel like in today's society, sometimes it's easier to knock people down than to celebrate them and to give compliments. And so I so appreciate that. And that's something I try to do as well, is like make sure, okay, if I see something in somebody, I want to let them know. I want them to know that I'm excited about them and that they're talented, and that like, go for it, because we all have our own specific talents. It's just sometimes about maybe finding what that is for you specifically. And a lot of the times it's maybe people like you, or people like, you know, Matt Nevesky, who I worked with, to say like, hey, there's something here. You can do this, right? And give you permission to walk through that door. And then you're like, okay, I can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you have to hang on to. You have to leave the other white noise out of the way and just listen to, you know, the voices that are there to support you and to encourage you, because that's what it's all about.
Agreed. I love that.
I was watching the behind the scenes for your upcoming video for the new single Diamond Country. It looks like it was a lot of hard work, but you had a lot of fun. I mean, 3 days, you kept posting the different days, but it looks like at the end, well, I know at the end, I saw the, you know, how it's all coming together. It looks like I can't wait for people to see the video when it comes out.
Gosh, it was the best experience of my life. The best experience of my life. But when I say it was one of the most challenging, by far. And I've been in the ring fighting people before, and being on that music video set was so physically, emotionally, and mentally challenging, because you know, you're working 13 12-hour days, multiple days in a row, and you're, at least for me, I'm such a like outgoing performer that I'm giving it my all every single take, dancing in heels in the Texas heat with no AC. And we probably did 20 something takes a day in different scenes throughout the day. And so it was a challenge, but it was the best experience of my life. I had so much fun. And then when the director was like, all right, we're cut, I just broke down in tears, and just happy tears. Like, we did it, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
People don't always realize how much work it is. I mean, they see 3 minutes, they see a 3-minute or 4-minute video, and all the takes, like you said, all of that, it's grueling. And it's I can only imagine. I've never done it myself, but I can only imagine. I've seen enough. And it's good that you shared it with people to say, hey, you know, I didn't just walk onto a stage and onto a sound stage and sing my song. It's this and that. And I'm standing here in 20 different outfits and different shoes. Like you said, the Texas heat.
Oh, yes.
What?
All of it. But that's what made the experience so much fun, you know, and it showed me too, like, oh, you can do this, you know, like, you can do this. You loved it. You're not going to quit. You got this. And I'm just so happy with how it turned out. And it'll be released here in a couple of weeks, so everyone will get to see it. It's very fun. It's very like over the top. We filmed it at a ghost town outside of Austin, Texas, which was very cool, where Westworld was filmed actually too. And so yeah, you'll get to see the entire look of it here soon.
To our future listeners, if you get time to watch the behind the video to see how it came together, and then watch the final video, you got to do that, because you'll appreciate the final product so much more when you see all that was put into it. So please do that, future listeners and viewers.
Thank you.
So you mentioned that you know where you're supposed to be in Nashville, that move, big as it was geographically, to leave everything you had in Texas. was there ever a moment, you know, because I'm sure even once you got there, you're unpacking, you're thinking, okay, I'm here. Was there a moment when you were like, okay, definitely, that was the right place, the right thing to do?
Honestly, I was here for 24 hours and I had just moved into the place that I'm in right now. We didn't have any furniture. Thankfully, my best friend moved here with me. So I had like a sense of home and a sense of comfort.
Right,
Um, and it was snowing because Nashville randomly got snow, which I was not prepared for being a Texas girl.
right,
And I knew I was in the right place. Within 24 hours, I was like, yep, you did it. And you're supposed to be here. And I just knew that. I can't give you an example as to why. There was just something within me that was like, you did this and this is exactly where you need to be. Now I've had moments that I've lived here to where it reiterates that, like doing different writers rounds here in town, being able to write with #1 hit songwriters here, being able to just connect with people in the industry. There's a big community around music here, which was not, I didn't find that in Texas. And so there's so many little things along, over the past year almost, that just reiterated the fact that, like, good job, girl, you made it.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was, you led me right into my next question for you is, do you write all of your own songs or do you collaborate with this? Since you're where the magic happens in Nashville, there's so many song circles and there's so many #1 hit writers. So you are finding yourself interacting with them too, just for some inspiration, for some help putting together a song with
Oh
multiple
yes.
writers.
Oh yes. Yeah, I love to collaborate with other people. And I think depending on who you collaborate with, who is in the room with you, that's really what gives this song a new life. I mean, you have one extra person in the room and they can bring a whole different energy into what that song is like. And so I'm all about writing with other people. All of my songs that I'll be releasing, except for one, actually, I've written and co-written. One of them, I went to a writer's round here and she sang this song called Nobody. And I just absolutely fell in love with it. And I basically begged her to let me cut that song. And she did. And her name's Haley Verhollen. And we've been writing a lot together since then. We just got back from a writing retreat with a couple of other ladies. And so, yeah, I'm all about collaborating and supporting other artists within the industry. Because I think at the end of the day, look, there's room for all of us to do what we love, and why not support each other instead of knock each other down? Like, I want to support what you on your dreams. You want to high five me on my dreams. Like, great, let's be buddies then.
And I think you're going to find that, I mean, I can't speak from personal experience, but just from the people, like the many, many people that I talk to that work or live in Nashville or both, just that it's like a family in a sense that you network with people, that you're there in the place where you will meet so many of these people that can help your career and that will inspire you and you'll inspire them. And it just is like the place. And it's, for country music, obviously, and it's just got to be rewarding to never know who you're gonna touch, maybe through a friend, like how you found Haley, how that came about and how you
Yeah.
then continue not just the one song that you liked of hers, but now you're writing together. That's so neat.
Exactly. Yeah. It's, I feel like I go through Nashville kind of like wide eyed, like, wow. And I'm still in that place. I do hear from people, Nashville breaks your heart. Like, you come to Nashville and you just get your heart broken over and over and over again. And I've definitely had my moments of, oh, this sucks. But I also realize that, this is such an adventure for me that I'm just kind of like a wide eyed toddler going through the streets, like, wow, this is so cool.
It's a cool city too. I mean, it's just, I've traveled a couple times there, not spent a lot more than a week there, but it's a lot of fun, and you never know who you're standing in the coffee line next to, and just you never know who you're going to meet and how it's going to affect your career potentially.
Exactly.
So,
Just staying open to it.
so you're currently finishing up the recording of the debut album. When do you expect that to be available?
So we're going to start releasing new singles early next year. And I'm looking to do dropping a new single every 4 weeks. So it's going to be kind of a very busy time, that's for
Right.
sure.
Right.
But I just have so much music I'm super excited about. It's very different from the single that I have out now, but kind of along in the same vein, a lot more emotion, a lot more vulnerability to where, in a lot of these writes, I take my journal that I wouldn't let anyone in the world read, but I take them into these writing sessions and say, like, this is what's coming up for me now. This is how I felt. Like, how can we maneuver this or put this into a song so other people can relate to it? So yeah, look for new music constantly in the new year.
I think it's an important that you hit on something important, like you said, every 4 weeks a single, because we're in a world where it used to be physical music, the CDs, and we still have them, but not to any extreme of what we used to. So people are relying on social media and digital and Spotify, iTunes, whatever it is, to find their music and to keep with all the stuff that they can hear. To have something new every so many weeks is it's genius because you have to, and you have to.
Mm. Yeah,
So
it's changed. It's like the industry seems to be changing a bit. People want new music. They want, the singles. We don't have as much of attention span, I think, as what we used to have.
yeah,
So, and really it's kind of working out, I feel like, in my favor right now, because I have so much music that's I want to bring out into the world. And I'm not sure I want to wait until next summer to put it all on one project. Now, a lot of these will be on one project, but I'm going to start releasing them before that because, at the end of the day, there are no rules to how you have to how this works or how you need to do it. And I'm not signed with a label. I'm my own label. I'm my own business, and I get to be the boss of that right now.
that's the best thing about not having a label sometimes. I mean, labels, can do some wonderful things, of course, but
Absolutely.
the one of the things that goes with that is that there's so much creative that could be taken away sometimes, and you're your own boss. Like you said, if I want to release a single tomorrow, I'm going to release a single tomorrow. If I'm going to
Yep.
wait 2 weeks and do this, it's gives you a lot more control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, there are 5 songs that I noticed that you have on the website, 5 additional songs, and then also if you count Little Girl, the video, there's 6. Are some of those songs going on this new album? Or are those saved for future things, or are those things that were done different parts in your work?
So yeah, I keep going back and forth on that specific question, actually. So I appreciate that you asked that. I'm not totally sure yet. I know there's a song on there called Go Ahead and Make It that I'm re-recording, and that'll be one of the songs that I'm putting out early next year. That was one of the first songs that I wrote and recorded in Austin with Will Knack, who now is playing guitar for Parker McCollum, which is great.
Yeah.
And so, Go Ahead and Make It'll be out. Little Girl was a letter to my little girl self. Basically, when I was told I couldn't sing when I was 10, and this is me talking to her now saying, no, you're good enough. You can do this, And so I'm still really deciding what I'm going to do with the rest of those songs. I have 10 outside of those that I'm definitely releasing. And then I'm going to see exactly which ones, pull up my heartstrings and which ones feel right to release. But those were the very first ones that I did.
I have to say this, that as I listen to those songs, um, it's so hard to pick songs for an album, especially when you have a lot of them that you want to choose from and everything. And you find yourself saying, okay, this is going to be the single, and this is going to be the one I'm going to do a video for. And then there's songs you're like, I like it. And it helps to make that list of 10 songs or whatever. I have to say that the songs I listen to on your site, I like each of them for a different reason. They're catchy. I like the melodies, and I like I like the lyrics too, of course. But I mean, I just something about the melodies and where everything goes, it makes them interesting in a first listen. Where sometimes you have to listen to a song 4 or 5 times to really like it. And I listen to so
Uh-huh.
much music, Whitney. I mean, like, used to work for a record label. Used to, I work in theaters right now. I have my own music collection, so I listen to a lot of music. And I have to say that when listening to those 5 songs, each of them caught me at the beginning for either a lyric or for a really cool melody or transition with the instruments. So
Cool. Well, thank you. I take that as a very big compliment.
I just really like them, because you listen, sometimes people just because like I said, we have so many choices, and maybe we all have a little bit of ADD to, there's so many hit the button on this song, hit the button. I listened to them all straight through, and it was like I had a reason on each of them where I liked them. So just whatever that means. I mean, I'm one person in a universe of people, but I mean, it's just they all caught my ear.
Amazing. I mean, that really warms my heart. You just made my day right now. So thank you. Thank you.
Of
And it
course.
means
So,
a lot that you listened through all of them. And yeah, so thank you so much.
and I hope other people take the time to do the same thing with your website, because you've got all that music on there to get them
Yeah.
excited about whatever's next with this new album, to get them to start hearing some of the music, whether it ends up on the album or not, to hear what your voice and, to hear your voice and listen to your words. So I hope that
Yes.
happens. Once your album hits the streets, do you expect to be able to take your songs to the stage or possibly even to the road? Is that part of the plan, or?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That is what I am so excited about. That's one of the reasons why I want to start really getting some music out there and pretty quickly, is because I want to get on the road. I love meeting people. I love meeting the fans. I love hearing their stories. I love hearing how this songs connects with them. And it's exactly, that is my dream of all dreams, is to go on the road and perform as much as I possibly can. So as soon as that can happen, as soon as it's in the cards for me, I'm gonna say yes, just like I was talking about, and fully go for it, because I just cannot wait. I'll definitely do some shows in Texas, of course, and in Austin and all through the surrounding areas. And then we'll see what other area kind of calls to us, but I'll be
Maybe the
out.
Midwest, maybe Chicago, maybe
Yeah,
somewhere out that way.
yeah, exactly, right? Keep it coming.
But I'm sure that one of the things that, and you already have this, I'm sure you have so much positive feedback from all the people's lives you touch with all the things that you do. But when you take your songs on the road, and then you see them either singing the words in the audience or coming up to you afterwards and saying, this song helped me through a hard time or inspired me, that's going to be the golden frosting on the cake, I would think.
Absolutely. I mean, I just got chills as you were saying that. That is like the pinnacle, and that's, we write music because we love to write music, and because it's enjoyable, but also for other people too, to give other people a place to where they feel seen and
Right.
heard and not alone and not crazy. And that's why I try to be so open and vulnerable with who I am as a person, but also open and vulnerable with my lyrics and the song, because I feel like the more I'm just me, the more it's just my inner thoughts that sometimes may be kind of crazy. You put them into a song, people are like, oh, okay, she feels that way too. I'm not alone then. And that to me is also, the cherry on top and the pinnacle of why I do music.
Yeah, it's really something to be able to have someone connect with your music so much that you're similar realities, that people sometimes think they're the only person going through something.
Yeah.
And then they hear how many times that maybe you or myself taken a song and it helped us through a bad moment, because it was like it just had a mantra in it that was like, okay, this too shall pass, and get through this. And songs do that to us, so now they can do that with your songs.
Yes. Yeah. I'm excited for that.
You've been a part of so many amazing career-focused adventures. Do you ever pinch yourself and say, is this really happening? Is this, all the things you've done?
Yeah, I do at times. I was having a funny conversation actually over the weekend with some girlfriends of mine, and I was talking about how interesting my life kind of is. Like, if I would have told my 13-year-old self, like, oh girl, you better saddle up because you got a whole lot coming your way. You're going to go into fighting, you're going to be in pageants, you're going to be in music, you're going to be in podcasting. And like, she would be like, what? How is that possible? So I do. There are points where I feel very blessed to be in the place that I'm in. It takes a lot of hard work, and it takes, pushing through a lot of fear all of the time. Sometimes there's moments where I'm like, maybe I should just, I don't know, run away to a beach and sell coconuts instead. Why am I doing this? But I don't think I would be as happy there, even though I do love a good beach. But I think this is how my life is supposed to be. It's constantly figuring it out and changing and shifting, and being okay with the adventure that is inherently life.
Yeah, and when you think about it, I'm someone too that just always has to be, doing so many different things, and that people sometimes they just have their 9 to 5 job. That's what they do for their life. They go in, they punch a clock, and there's a need for that. I mean, by
Right.
no means, some people really appreciate that in their life. That's all they want to do. That they want to work 9 to 5, come home, unwind, and then do it again. I know I couldn't. So it's very it's I just admire all the different things that you have done, and you don't let the grass grow under your feet at all.
Mhm.
And that they're all big things. They're big. They're all things that have been parts of your career, have been career focused things, and now music. It just seems like straight ahead for the music now.
Straight ahead. I don't have any, like, I mean, I have my blinders on when it comes to music, and I know that. And I do feel as though in the other areas of life, and other things that I've accomplished, I've always, like I said, had that voice of like, you really want to do music. You really want to do music. You really want to do music.
Uh-huh.
And then now that I'm finally doing it, there isn't another voice. The voice is like, great job. Let's just keep going. Like there is nothing else pulling me to wonder if I did these other things. It's like, no, you finally made it to the one thing that you were so deathly terrified of. And now here you are having the best time doing it. So it's definitely like blinders on, and there is no end to it for me right now.
It's such an exciting story because I mean, there could have been that moment where you could have heard that voice and said, "I'm not going to pursue this," and you didn't let that happen, and now you can just look back at all you've accomplished in a short period of time with this, with everything you're putting together, and it's just the beginning, just the beginning.
Just the beginning. Yes. Crazy to think about.
Yeah, yeah. You're very active on social media. Of all the social media outlets on there, which one do you find yourself interacting most with your fans, or where should people really go to learn more about your music?
Instagram for me. I'm on TikTok too, but geez, I'll tell you what, that is a big learning curve for me. But yeah, I'm on Instagram. I try to respond to almost all the DMs that I get. I try to respond to all the comments I get. And so yeah, feel free to hit me up on Instagram. It's Wit in Love, WHITNLOVE. And let me know what you guys think of the music. Feel free to send me any messages or ask me any questions. Like, I love to just interact with everyone.
And it's great that we can do that so much more now with social media. I mean, pros and cons, but to social media, because sometimes, like you said, people just feel that they can say there's haters out there,
Of
and
course, yeah.
so unfortunately, but I mean, I just think it's such a great way to reach so many people that may not have been able to reach your music because we have all of this. So it's a neat time to be living in and producing, making music where people can reach it that might not have ever reached it before.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to it, but hopefully the pros outweigh the cons in most days.
Right, right. I just want to remind future viewers to check out Whitney Miller's new single, Diamond Country, and the accompanying video, which is, you said, a couple weeks away?
Couple weeks away, yes.
Okay, so any moment now. And
Any moment. I know, I want it
uh,
out just as much as you guys. I'm like
I'm sure.
chomping at the bit.
I'm sure. And then also be on the lookout for the new album, which is down the pike. But just go to the website, listen to some of these songs so that you can get pumped up about all the great music that's on the way from Whitney Miller.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I thank you so much for your time today. I know it's a busy one, and thanks for taking some time to talk to us.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.